This is an update to the previous video I made for the file locking assignment. There's a part of the old video which demonstrates something that doesn't work in the Z shell that's used with the most recent version of Kali Linux, so hence this updated video. The purpose of this demonstration is to show you how file locking works in Linux. As you can see, we're in our Azure virtual machine and we've already got Kali started and we're logged in. This example we're going to see, we referenced this in one of the lectures, so this should be familiar to you. File locking is a very important operating system related concept, and it's critical that you understand how it works within Linux. If you don't understand how file locking works within Linux, you're going to see different processes overwrite data in ways you don't really intend for them to do. File locking is how an operating system governs access to files between multiple processes. Most of the time, it only comes into play when multiple processes attempt to write to the same file. Any number of processes can read a file with no problem, provided that the owning users of these processes have access to the file. As part of the demonstration, I'm going to have two terminal windows open within Kali so you can see exactly how file locking works. As you recall from the lecture, Linux uses what is known as advisory file locking. This allows for multiple users to open the same file for writing at the same time to write to it. However, the operating system is supposed to at least advise that this is going on. Now, ultimately, it's up to you as the sysadmin to decide if this is a problem. I'll open up one terminal window here. Okay, we got our first terminal window. And let me open our second terminal window here, and I'll just leave that down there. And in my first window, I'm going to create a file, but first I need to see to make sure this file doesn't already exist. And if it does, I'll just delete it and start from scratch. So I'm looking for myfile.txt. I do see it from a previous demonstration, so let's just go ahead and delete that. Okay, now we can start fresh. So I'm going to go ahead and use VI to create a new version of this file, or a new instance of this file. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to enter some text, but I'm not going to save it. Instead, I'm going to just leave the editor open. Now I'm going to go to the second window, and I'm going to try to create the same file once again. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Now note that even though I never saved that previous version of my file up here, I'm getting this nasty sounding warning saying that some other process is editing the file. Now I'm going to go ahead and heed this scary warning, and I'm going to quit VI. Okay, so now we've quit it. But you know what? I'm going to write to that file anyway, and I'm going to use it using the echo command. So let's go ahead and do that. Echo. This is not my file. Okay. So we've gone ahead and done that. Now in the previous video, I used an exclamation point over here instead of a period to end that sentence. The Z shell requires that the exclamation point be escaped, while Bash more or less doesn't. This caused some problems for a few students, and as you recall from the previous lectures, that one greater than sign that we have here will redirect that text into myfile.txt, overwriting that file if it already exists. We can confirm that we've indeed written to this file using the cat command. Let's go ahead and just do that here. And as you can see, we see our text. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the first window and its VI session to see if I can save the file. I'll hit escape:W. Let's go ahead and do that. And it's giving me a warning that the file already exists. Note that we got this warning even though when we started this instance of VI, the file did not exist. So one thing you need to take note of here is that not every distribution of Linux and not every version of VI is kind enough to warn you about this. If you recall in the demonstration I did with Raspbian on the Raspberry Pi device, we got no warning at all, and it just simply overwrote the file. So now let's go ahead and force it to overwrite. Let's say just for the sake of the demonstration, we want to go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and force it to overwrite. I'm going to hit escape:W and exclamation point. and it goes ahead and forcibly overwrites the file. Now, if I show, if I redisplay the contents of the file from the second window, we see that it's the contents saved from the first window and not what we created in the second window. So as far as the assignment goes, the objective is still the same. In order to get a full score on the assignment, all you have to do is write into the assignment submission window, the last writer wins. That's all you have to do. The last writer wins is the quick version of how advisory file locking works in practice in Linux. And that's all you need to submit for this assignment. Don't forget that last period in the end.